Good afternoon. I'll just recap a little bit. Coming into a meeting in progress on Tuesday, July 24th, 2018. The meeting was opened in due form, the City Council meeting. Did the call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, and roll call. We have a quorum with Thorson, Y, and Lallam absent. There was no public comment. The agenda was approved. And we've moved on to item 3, which is the purpose of the meeting. Award of contract to AP & Sons Construction, Inc. for the 13th Avenue Southeast Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project number 1821 in the amount of $137,880. This is a special assessment project. It was on the agenda for the last meeting after we opened bids for the project, and the bids came in higher than the estimate and considerably higher. And so it was pulled from the agenda because we hadn't heard from the property owners as to whether or not they still wanted to move forward with the petitioned assessment project with the higher price. We must award this within 30 days of opening the bids, which necessitates having this special meeting, as the next regularly scheduled meeting will be beyond the time that we have to award the bid. So, given that, the petitioners were contacted, and Fred Hardy took the petition with the revised cost estimate around to all of the property owners and received signatures on 95.2% of the frontage represented. So there were 2 owners, I think, that did not sign the petition, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not sure what I think one was 137.5 and okay. So anyway, we have a percentage of signatures of 95.2% of all the people that will be paying for it are in favor of moving forward with the higher price, and so which is a pretty high percentage. So I'll be looking for a motion and a second for approval, and then we'll have some discussion. Have a motion by Manti and a second by Roby. Okay, here's a copy of the petition that was sent around, and we have the original signatures of all of these folks. So if there's any question, the one has a line and a gap. That's a lot that is split. Half of it was sold off, and so one half of it there is no signature, and then there's another lot further down. I think that one property owner for sure didn't want it, and the other property owner was unable to be contacted. So I think that's probably why Jody is here. Do you want to say something? If you do, you need to come and sit. So state your name into the microphone. Make sure it's on, which I think it is.
All right. If not, I'll talk on.
Wait.
I'm Jody Ingalls.
The mic needs to be on.
It's on now.
Okay.
All right. Jody Ingalls representing Ingalls Investments, and we owned up until June the whole lot, Lot 2, Block 1, RNC addition behind the Watertown Mall. We have a storage shed on the half that we kept, and it is cold storage. We do not use the sewer system out there, have never used the sewer system out there, and we are opposed to this. And even without being opposed to it, I have other concerns regarding it. One is that I understand that the bid is high because of the time of the year that it is. All the construction bids are out there already. People are booked for the year, and wondering if it wouldn't make sense to wait until next year to bid it, to the spring, that it would be cheaper for all concerned parties. I do not know how it was presented to the other parties out there. We missed the deadline to come to the meeting in May. My husband was hospitalized in Sioux Falls, and therefore I did not even open my envelope, and I apologize. That's my bad. But when we were contacted last week, I believe, regarding this property, and asked if we were in favor of this, and especially when the bid came in quite a bit higher, we immediately came up here and approached the engineering department and visited about it, and was going to get a petition and go out and talk to the owners out there. Well, in the meantime, Fred Hardy, who is acting as the agent for most of the owners out there, went and contacted everybody and got a petition signed, and as you see, we did not sign it. I'm not sure if everybody understands fully. I don't know how he explained it to them. I would have liked to have contacted some of them as to that it is the time of the year that we possibly could get this more reasonable. My other concern is the chip seal. If this bid is even included in the chip seal. So the letter that I have in front of me at $35 to $40 per frontage footage, for a cost of, at the time, was our whole lot. Lot 2, Block 1 of $10,312. I now believe it's quite a bit higher, and the chip seal on top of that is another $8,000 that will be coming to us, or not?
The chip seal only comes to you if you decide not to make this a public street. Then you have to reimburse us for the chip seal. We went forward and did the chip seal, assuming that this would become a public street and the city taxpayers are paying for it, because we had an excellent price.
Okay. All right, so the chip seal is not an
So
added
if we
cost.
don't do the sewer, that will be your cost. If the sewer isn't done, there's no guarantee that you'll get a lower bid by waiting.
Okay.
And so that's the reason. There was a public notice that went out of the last meeting, and we did discuss the fact that we might get a better bid if we wait. We talked about that at length at the last council meeting before.
Okay.
But there is no guarantee that we'll get a lower bid.
All right.
We brought that up to Mr. Hardy as well before he went back out and got these signatures, that it is possible that we could get lower, but that's not guaranteed.
Right. Okay. No, I totally understand that. And again, that's probably my leg to stand on, is that I would like to see it to be a lower bid, and to wait until the spring to move forward with it.
Totally understand.
Yep. And then the other part of it was, I'm not sure why it would have got chip sealed if you were going to tear the street back up to put this sewer in.
We're not tearing the street up.
Okay.
It's the lift
just
station.
A lift station. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Can I ask who, since I wasn't present and I didn't read the minutes from it, could I ask who outbid the lift station?
Oh, sure. That's in the public record. We received 3 bids. AP and Sons Construction, Inc. was the low bidder. We got a bid from GM Contracting, Inc. and from H&W Contracting.
All right. So, is there any chance that, I don't suppose there's a chance it would get rebid, that we could have it bid again this year? Or it's already been out there?
Right. No, we wouldn't rebid
right.
it this year.
Well, that's our stance on it, is that we are opposed to it and that we do not want it at this time, because we do not use the lift station and we do not want to move forward and pay for a lift station that we do not use. We know that sewer and water is stubbed into our building, but it's not hooked up or operated by us. We've never had it hooked up, so.
Understand. And, if it's any consolation, if this is awarded, having this in there not being a private sewer will be a selling point for the future.
We're aware of that.
If someone wanted to put service into your lot.
No, we're aware of it. It's just we already paid, for this, a lot of the street and for upgrading through the sewer privately, and it's just another added cost that as a taxpayer and property owner we don't need at this time in our life. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Mayor, I have.
Colin?
Mr. Hardy is on vacation this week, but he's the acting agent for this whole group. He's the one that went out and got all these signatures in the first place, too. And I just want to make that known. That's why he's not here today.
Okay, right. Yes, he did this very quickly the day after the council meeting because he was leaving on vacation. And so we got these back very quickly.
How many, Mayor, you had mentioned that 95% of the frontage approved it, and then you referenced 2 owners. How many owners are there in total?
different owners, unique owners.
Right.
Colin, you'll have
So we
to
got two
count them
that
up.
either didn't sign or
We
opposed
have
it.
15 total signatures,
So you got
which
13 yes.
which indicates 15 different lots or properties that will be assessed. As far as owners, there are some lots that are owned by the same owner,
Right.
and I would have to.
So there's probably 10 different owners. Somewhere around. There aren't 15 different owners. There's 8 to 10 unique owners, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Because,
It looks like Mr. Arnsey owns five lots still.
okay, maybe fewer than 8.
May I address the council again?
Sure.
Okay, and that is part of the problem that, from us as a private owners, that we own the property, we utilize our property for ourselves. Arnsey's property, along with Mr. Hardy, that I do not know, they have several utility hookups in each one of these properties, and they rent them out. So they might have 4 hookups per a lot, and they're receiving income from that and using the sewer system significantly out there. And that's why when the lift stations have went down in the past, we've had a problem with, we don't use this lift station. We do not use the sewer system out there, but realize it is stubbed into the lot. We're not crying wolf. We're just saying that it's a lot more beneficial to every one of these who are getting kickbacks and using it as commercial property for their benefit, and also they're receiving income for each one of those hookups, and the city's getting money for the hookups, or would potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else, Councilman Vilhauer?
Kristen, will you review for us what are the payment options for a project such as this?
As far as the payment options, I believe they have until, I think it's October 31st, to come into the finance office and make the payment in full. And at that point, if they don't, it's turned over to the county, which it then goes on to their property for property taxes. And I think it's like 10 years that then they kind of have to pay it off.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Mayor, I'd just like to ask Ms. Ingalls, what is your guys' calculation? What is your and your husband's calculation?
Well, it was originally $10,312, but I understand it might be like 13 something now.
For your
If I'm-
portion of what's remaining, correct?
13 and then divide, but this was for the whole lot, and then it would be basically divided by 2. The lot was about 140 and 140, I think. So
It
So
is
about
it's up on the
$6,500.
It's up on the screen currently.
He probably can't see that. It's tiny.
Oh.
Can you just read the number?
6689.38.
6,689.98.
as long as we're talking about I called the county regarding the property taxes, and they're very unclear. I even talked to Kara Maloney as to the rate and how that is assessed. Now she's thinking, or what I've understood from Colin, is it's approximately 10% interest on that. But as being an ex-banker, I'm trying to calculate that out, and I don't know if as we pay that down every year, so the first year we're paying 10% on the $6,689. So if we, you divide that even math out, so then it goes down, say we go down to 6,000, so next year I'm paying 10% on 6,000 again. And that rate is set by you, the city?
That's correct. That's part of the resolution when it takes place, when it's assessed against the property owners, is the 10% is what the council sets.
May I ask how you set that rate? Because Prime is not at that rate.
The
Banking prime
It's
is
set
not-
high so that the city doesn't become the bank, and people are free to get their own financing at a lower rate and pay it off to us. Then we don't charge that extra rate. But that's been the thinking in the past of why the interest rate is high. It's not intended to compete with banks.
Well, and I would say that most of them out there are in a position that they'll write you a check, and there would have been a time we would have been in that position. We're not in that position now. So I would ask that, as long as if we are being somewhat forced into paying our portion of this, that you would consider a lower rate.
Can we even do that now? resolution of necessity was passed in May, right?
I'd have to look at when the rate is set. If it's set for at the.
Yeah, I'd have to double check on that as well.
Okay, so we can award the bid and then look into that. And then that would require council action, though, to change it. But we can do that at our leisure as long as it's done before this goes over to the county, right?
Cause I believe, too, once the project is done and the total is finalized, this will come back before you to actually assess it to the property owners. So you will see this again. And I believe, and I'll check into that, too, with Matt, that might be the time that the percent is set.
Yes, okay, so that is an option that we can award the bid and still look at that later, but we must award the bid prior to like August 3rd, or the bid bonds expire. So if we're going to act on this, we need to do that soon. That's why the rush in a special meeting.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you hearing me out today.
Mhm.
And it would be nice, again, if I'm assuming that it'll pass because you've got a 95%. And we're not opposed to the city taking over the road. It's just a hardship on us at this time. And I would just appreciate a better rate.
All right, thank you, Jody. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Okay, item number 4 is old business. Is there any old business to be discussed? Seeing none, I'll look for new business. No new business. Are there any liaison member reports? No. There is no need to go into executive session pursuant to SDCL 125-2, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councilman Bueller, second by Councilman Vilhauer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.